My name is Kat Sullivan. I live in Kenmore, Washington. I am a longtime activist for low-income families with a nonprofit called People Organizing for Welfare and Economic Rights. POWER is its acronym. In 2005, CPS brought my newborn grandniece to me to care for, and she stayed with me for nearly 4 years. I am low income myself, so while in the midst of adoption proceedings, CPS then suddenly took this child from me and falsely accused me of child abuse. I fought these false accusations and won my case, proving that these CPS workers and their GAL, in collusion with family court, had committed perjury, withheld crucial evidence, breached their own contracts, and committed a gross amount of illegal activities in order to take this child. Instead of being held accountable, these people were rewarded with bonuses and have been collecting six-figure funding while I cared for my grandniece in abject poverty. Worse, as a relative caregiver, I was not allowed any assistance with to legally defend myself, and if I wouldn't have, I would have been put on a list of child abusers and sex offenders for the rest of my life, without anyone having to prove a single thing in court. But my win did little to return this child to the only mother she had known. After removing this child due to imminent danger that they knew did not exist, they then adopted this child to an upper-income couple whose own baby had been killed the very day this child was taken from me. This baby had drowned in this unmarried couple's backyard, unprotected, adult-sized swimming pool with 3 other little kids, also unsupervised, at 10 o'clock in the morning while the couple was still in bed. Usually, this should have been routine for the state to charge these people with negligence and several other charges for unprotected swimming pools on their private property. Instead, they were rewarded with the permanent placement of another child who this child did not even know. As an activist, I began researching the taking of children and discovered a horrifying truth, that instead of supporting parents, which would literally cost 1,000% less, it was routine for CPS and family court to take children from low-income families and place them in foster care. As a matter of fact, I discovered the low-income housing where my grandniece was taken had been completely emptied of every single child over a period of 6 months. As CPS went in and took these small children one by one. More investigations found that this practice is occurring in other states as well. I have spoken with attorneys, former social workers, ministers, and people living in Pennsylvania, Georgia, Nevada, California, Oregon. There's other states, two or three other states. And they too reported the same harvesting of every child from low-income housing. Nobody has looked into other states, but anyone who knows the system of taking children would not be surprised to discover this legal kidnapping is happening in every state. If anyone believes that taking poor children and placing them in upper-income families is better for these kids, they need to take a little time and interview the thousands of runaway former foster and adopted children living on the streets, as I have done. They will tell you stories that will give you nightmares for weeks. If anyone believes it is cheaper to remove these children from their parents and relocate them, they are wrong. According to the Casey Foundation, it costs literally 1,000% more to put kids in foster care than to actually help the family. If anyone believes that these kids forget their own families because they live in a new home with a new car, they're wrong. As with the slaves of old, these kids retain emotional scars for the rest of their lives. And this is shown in studies done about the fact that they are more apt to become homeless, they are more apt to drop out of school, they're more apt to become early parents, they are more apt to go to jail. thanks to their being bought and sold by family courts as if they were nothing but merchandise to make a profit for family court personnel, CPS, CASAs, and all their contracted surrogates.